The suspect accused of killing a husband and wife in Devil's Den last month in court today. Thanks for joining us tonight at 6. I'm Rolly Hoyt.
And I'm Faith Woodard. Andrew McGann's arraignment took place this morning behind closed doors. The judge in the case ordered the hearing to be completely closed to the public.
Bo Russell reports on the jarring new development on a case that's drawn national attention.
Andrew McGann's arraignment was scheduled for 8 o'clock Thursday morning at the Washington County Jail in Fayetteville. When reporters arrived, they were met with a court order on the door, barring any recording of any kind in or around the courtroom. That's not unusual for a case like this. What is unusual, the public was completely barred from viewing the arraignment as well.
Usually speaking, public does have access to pretty much anything and everything. That's 1610-105, right?
1610-105, the Arkansas Code Fayetteville attorney Adam Rose is referring to, states the sitting of every court shall be public and every person may freely attend the sittings of every court. That rule was clearly not upheld this morning, and the only reason we know an arraignment happened is because Washington County Prosecutor Brandon Carter told us it did.
Mr. McGann was just arraigned by the circuit court by Judge Taylor. He pled not guilty.
I spoke with multiple legal experts who tell me if the court closes hearings to the public, they must give a, quote, specific reason as to why. In Thursday's Arkansas Legislative Council's Game and Fish and State Police meeting, Senator Terry Rose said he is also confused by the judge's decision to block the arraignment from the public.
I read an article while we were sitting here about the judge closed the courtroom today and even taped over the one window that you could see in the courtroom. And I mean, there's interest from the public that wants to know. And yes, this case has to move forward, but I don't understand that either.
I was able to get through to Judge Taylor's office and asked multiple times why the proceeding was withheld. Their response remained consistent, quote, "We are not going to talk about this case." When Prosecutor Carter was asked about the decision, he said,
Didn't discuss the court's order from yesterday.
Bo Russell reporting for us there. Just a couple hours ago, Arkansas State Police Commander Colonel Mike Hager addressed a legislative subcommittee here in Little Rock. You saw part of that in his piece about the Devil's Den double homicide. He applauded the troopers involved, said a random act like this is extremely rare. He also spoke to how technology helped capture McGann.
Scattered showers and thunderstorms once again this afternoon, this time primarily over southern and southeastern Arkansas. Not long ago, we had a severe thunderstorm warning for Union and one for Ashley County. That cell has fallen apart. Still some strong storms around Bradley, Union County, and a couple of more beginning to pop up here in central Arkansas. Let's take you here first. Bradley County getting some good rain out of this up toward the Fordyce area too. Then around the Dallas County area, Cleveland, Lincoln counties. So this is the area currently getting the best of the rain. Faulkner County, North Conway, a little bit of activity there. Northern Saline County, even Perry County. There are little outflow boundaries floating about here in central Arkansas. One or two more storms may develop from those boundaries. Otherwise, it's the heat, and it's only going to build in these next several days. 92 is our current number in Little Rock, 96 in Searcy, 97 Arkadelphia. Your heat index values are currently running just above 100 in a lot of places. It's going to get hotter. It's going to feel hotter. Heat advisories are in effect. I'll have those maps and graphics for you very shortly.
All right, Tom, thanks. Up to now, the steady news about raids on massage parlors in the state have focused on rescuing the sex workers being trafficked inside. Well, today, the Attorney General moved the focus to a suspect.
THV 11's Brooke Buckner reports on the arrest and how far authorities had to go to catch him.
Yeah, Faith and Rolly, this is the man U.S. Marshals and Oklahoma City Police arrested earlier this week. His name is Zingguan Liu, who also goes by Gary, and AG Griffin says he owns and operates multiple illicit massage businesses in Hot Springs. Last month, agents from the AG's office raided AI Massage, Magic Massage, and Diamond Massage and found 3 female victims. Griffin says it's very likely Liu owned other similar businesses elsewhere in the country. Liu is behind bars and faces charges of trafficking of persons and unauthorized use of another person's property to facilitate certain crimes. Griffin says his office seized about $16,000 in cash, including currency from China and 4 other foreign countries.
This is why we got to have a new prison. Let me tell you the old way. The old way, the way we've always done it when you don't have prison space, is people like this get released. This guy should never be released until his sentence is done. And if we don't have more prison space, these are the kind of guys that walk. It's a fact. And so hopefully with the PROTECT Act, where this guy's going to spend a lot of time thinking about what he did right here in Arkansas.
Since January, 23 human trafficking victims have been identified in Arkansas, and a total of 13 massage businesses have been served with search warrants. To date, there have been 7 arrests with 2 active warrants still in effect. This morning, Griffin also touched on a lawsuit against Meta, Instagram's parent company, calling on the social media platform to safeguard its new location sharing feature. He says he hopes Instagram will implement controls on the new feature to make sure both adults and minors stay safe. Griffin sent a letter to Meta alongside 36 other attorneys general. Back to you.
All right, Brooke, thank you. Tonight, a Supreme Court ruling that says social media sites have to verify kids' ages in Mississippi. The decision comes after a lower court judge permanently blocked Arkansas's version of the law back in April. The High Court allowed Mississippi's age verification law to stay in place despite an appeal by tech companies like Google and Meta. The Mississippi law may eventually get blocked too, but the Supreme Court allowed it to stand while a lawsuit plays out.
Tonight, new data is showing costs rose sharply for producers and manufacturers last month, and a potential sign that higher prices could soon start to trickle down to American consumers in the months ahead. The Producer Price Index measures the average change in prices that are paid by producers. The latest numbers show a 0.9% jump from June. The rate on the year so far is 3.3%, all according to the government data.
On today's data, it looks like wholesale manufacturers on things like machinery are really struggling with tariffs. And so it's going to be that kind of detail going forward that's going to help us determine where prices are getting higher.
Now, economic experts have been confused all year when it comes to predicting inflation amid the on-again, off-again tariff policies from the White House. This latest report came in far greater than most predicted. The big question now for the economy, how much longer before those wholesalers behind today's report pass along those rising costs to American consumers?
Well, a family is still fighting for answers while marking a tragic anniversary date.
Yeah, 3 years ago, Jamal Lewis died in a hit and run while crossing South University Avenue. And today, investigators still don't know who did it.
His family has been on a mission since then, and THV 11's Maya Ellison checked in to learn more about their mission for justice.
For 3 years, Latifah Hughes and her family have lived with the memory of her brother, Jamal Lewis.
He was just the life of, everything, and I miss him so much.
August 14th, 2022, Lewis was hit by a car and killed while crossing South University Avenue around 1 a.m. It's a day that's still hard to face.
So the night before, I had talked to my brother on Google Meet. I got off the phone. I said, I'll call you back as soon as I get from the store. And it was about 10 o'clock at night. I came back home and started calling him. I didn't get an answer. But ever since my uncle passed away, things been so different.
Little Rock police say the driver who hit Jamal wasn't on the scene when they arrived. Latifah didn't find out until hours later.
So I was up all night and all day, and I didn't find out until the next day around 1 o'clock.
Today, Jamal's case is still under investigation, but his sister says she's still left with more questions than answers.
Who are you all investigating? Who have you investigated?
Along the stretch of South University where Jamal was killed, police say there have been at least 3 other fatal crashes. Sam Al-Safari, who owns a business nearby, says the area is unsafe for pedestrians.
If we want to cross the street, we have to walk sometimes all the way down over there, and nobody will stop.
He even says poor lighting only makes things worse.
Sometimes it'll flicker or they won't go on, and it's hard to see the road sometimes.
We at THV 11 reached out to city officials who pointed to the 2024 approved Safe Streets for All grant, a $25 million investment meant to fund safety upgrades along University, including where Jamal was killed.
I just can't. That don't sit well in my spirit that it was an accident.
For Latifah and her family, the pain of losing Jamal still lingers, but they're holding on to hope that justice will come.
But rest in peace, Jamal. I love you.
Because I know we're going to figure out who did this to my uncle eventually, because God knows.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
Maya, thank you. City officials say design work for the upgrades along University is expected to begin later this year or early next year.
Well, tonight at 10, we continue our 11 News investigation into scammers targeting EBT recipients. Over the weekend, our team got word that new victims faced blocked calls when they tried to reach the Department of Human Services to change their PIN numbers. So we reached out to DHS to find out why.
So we did increase our anti-fraud measures through our toll-free integrated voice response, that the phone number that clients use to activate their cards or change their PINs or request new cards.
So now we know what's changed, but why are people's calls being blocked, and what is the agency doing to address the issue? Find out tonight on THV 11 News at 10.